Hello YouTube, and more specifically, hello to you, iremythpurr. Well, can I call you Nuclear Knight just for the sake of simplicity? I apologize since I really can't pronounce your name properly. So, you may not know me, but I do know who you are. I've commented on several of your videos several times, and yeah, apparently my comments didn't go over with you very well since you blocked them. And I don't say incendiary or slanderous things in my comments. So, and I didn't dock drop you either, and so I don't know why you blocked my comments. But since you probably wouldn't respond to another one of my comments, I decided to make a video specifically addressed to you. And let me say one thing before I continue with the rest of the video. I'm not entirely expecting you to answer to this. You don't have to if you don't want to, but this is just my personal view on some of the things you've said here on YouTube. And I wanted you to know, first off, that I am not a misogynist. I don't hate women. I'm not a sexist either. I support women's rights. I just don't support radical feminism, and I'll explain to you why later. So the first point I really kind of did not agree with you was your view in the porn industry and how you are so against it. In fact, you speak of it in your videos with the utmost contempt, like how men are paying to rape women and how women are being degraded as just masturbation material, which is not entirely true. First off, that's not really rape you described. The act you described was just a person paying for another person to engage in sexual activity with them. And that isn't rape, because the definition of rape is sexual assault from one person to another without another person's consent. So if a man pays a prostitute to give him a blowjob, then that's not rape, because both parties are consenting. However, if the man holds a gun to the prostitute's head and tells her to give him a blowjob, then that is rape, because, well, she didn't consent there, did she? The second thing I found really wrong with that statement was that it's not only men that pay to quote-unquote rape women. Women pay for women prostitutes, women pay for male prostitutes, and men pay for male prostitutes as well. So, unless you want to expand on that and say, well, women are paying to rape men, and women are paying to rape other women, and men are paying to rape other men, then that would be suitable, but that's not really the point you're trying to make, are you? And as for your statement that men are degrading women as mere masturbation material when they are participating in pornography, that's not exactly accurate either. And why that is because it's all based on your subjective opinion. One woman may think that it is completely degrading to a woman to show herself in such a manner, when other women feel empowered and sexy and beautiful. It's just all a matter of your personal opinion. And what about the men in this instance? Are they being mistreated too? How do you differentiate between how a woman is being portrayed in porn and how a man is being portrayed in porn? And do you have any solid evidence to back that claim up? And even if people are being portrayed as masturbation material, so what? Why is that such a big deal? It doesn't make them any less of a person. It doesn't harm them because they're consenting. From the time we were 13, maybe 14, we all had sexual urges, and we still continue to have these urges today, whether you care to admit it or not. Wanting to jack off to a picture of an attractive person is not morally reprehensible. It's just part of human nature, and nothing you or I can say will ever change that. So if you have any arguments to further strengthen your case, feel free to respond. That would be very nice. But I'd prefer if you watched my video on prostitution first, which, even though it's called My Thoughts on Prostitution, it does kind of apply to the rest of the adult industry. Link should be somewhere. Anyways, and now to address the issue which you kind of blocked me on. So, the video I commented most recently on was your video about iremythpurr, if I'm saying that correctly. Feel free to correct me if I'm not. Now, you seem to worship this woman as an influential figure in feminist history that stood up to the oppression of men. And that's not exactly an accurate portrayal of this woman. So for your audience, and for you, who might have missed a few of the facts on this woman, let me fill in the gaps that you missed. So Miss Aileen was a very troubled person. She lived a very miserable life that I would not even wish on my worst enemy, as you probably informed your viewers. But when she murdered 7 people, 7 men, and she claimed that she was raped by them, and that she killed them in an act of self-defense, that only goes so far. And here are the facts you were missing from that video. The 7 bodies were scattered around random parts of Florida, which clearly says it's not an act of self-defense if she tried to dispose of the evidence in 7 different places now, is it? Not to mention, 5 or 6 of the 7 men who had been killed had been shot more than 6 times. Now, I want you to close your eyes. Think about this for a minute, okay? 6 times or more. Does that sound like an act of self-defense to you? Because you might want to argue that maybe she had really crappy aim with her gun, but that doesn't really check out either, because she'd been arrested several times before these murders, and every single time, or at least most of them, she had been in possession of a pistol. So if anything, she knew what she was doing. She knew how to aim. And it was not just a matter of coincidence that 5 or 6 men had been shot numerous times. And that does not sound like an act of self-defense. Now, I understand why you might feel pity for her, and it's probably the same reason I kind of feel pity for her, because honestly, no one should live the life she lived. But that's no excuse. And I really mean it. That is no excuse to excuse her from the crimes she has committed. Just because you lived a crappy life, that does not give you the right to take it out on the rest of the world. It certainly does not give you the right to commit murder. And the way you portray her as some kind of hero, when she is clearly out of her damn mind, is just wrong. The last point I'd like to address is a little touchy, and I apologize for this. But it is about how people have been treating you on YouTube, especially with what you said, and specifically that you said that you had been raped at one point in your life, and people have told you to get over it, in not the nicest way possible either. Now, I don't know how many people have told you this, but I'm honestly sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that you got raped. I'm sorry to hear if anyone got raped, because words could not possibly describe how you must have felt. But at the same time, I kind of have to agree with the YouTube community here and say that you should move on. And by all means, you don't have to take anything I say with a grain of salt. This is only my opinion. But anyways, from the way you speak of men in your videos, the way you portray men, and just how you always seem to portray them as these monsters, and how you reply to some of the comments on your channel that I've noticed, you seem to be a misandrist. You don't seem to like men very much, and that's saying it lightly. In fact, I honestly believe you hate men. And if you don't feel that way, well, good for you, because you kind of give that vibe when you go up on camera and you speak in front of it, that you kind of hate men. That kind of resonates out of your tone and just your body expression and your facial expression. But anyways, if you really do hate men, and you don't have to admit this in any way, because whatever, then honestly, I'm sorry to hear that. Because not all men are just sex-crazed beasts who are out there to rape women. That is not that's not what we are. You might also say you're a feminist because you see a lot of inequalities in the workplace, and I'd have to ask you, well, don't you know that some men are being paid less than women for the same job? It's not only a one-way exchange. Women are being paid more than men in some jobs. Men are being paid more than women in other jobs. Unfortunately, that's how it works. It's unavoidable in that sense, because women are better than men in some jobs, and men are better in some jobs than women. So, Nuclear Knight, that's all I have to say to you for now. Thanks for watching, and may the truth always be heard. Later.